Greetings and welcome to Yarnspirations.com. I'm Mary Beth Temple from Hooked for Life, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Pastoral Lace Knit Shawl. While I have your attention, please subscribe to this channel for weekly updates and new tutorials in crochet, knitting, and other yarny crafts by clicking the red box in the description. We're going to take a look at the central section. We are going to take a look at an unusual lace pattern, and we're going to learn how to put in a lifeline in lace knitting. So to make this shawl, all you're going to need is Peyton's Grace. We used the colorway Citadel, but you of course can use whatever color you like. 5 balls of that, a US 6 or 4mm circular knitting needle, 36 inches or longer, although of course I used a shorter one on camera so I didn't get tangled up in it, or size needed to obtain gauge, and you're also going to need a stitch marker. So let's get started by looking at the central section of the shawl. Okay, let's take a look at the very beginning of this shawl. We're going to cast on 7 stitches. Now we're following along in the text pattern, and the first row is a right side row. We're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3. And now we have 9 stitches. On the second row, which is the wrong side row, we're going to knit 3, purl to the last 3 stitches, knit 3. So 1, 2, 3, purl to the last 3 stitches, 2, which in this case is only 3 because we've just started, and knit the last 3. 1, 2, 3. For the third row, we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. Place marker before next stitch. You can use a locking stitch marker or a ring stitch marker, or what I just do, I clipped a little piece of thread there. Different color yarn, so whatever you have handy will work. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. So knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to have 13 stitches. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ignore the stitch marker. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Fourth row is the same as the second row, which is knit 3. Purl across until 3 stitches remain, knit 3, 2, 3. Remember, we're just going to slip the marker when we come to it. We're not going to do anything to it. We're not going to knit in it or anything like that. When we come to it, we're just going to move it from the left hand needle to the right hand needle. All right, we have 3 stitches left. Let's knit 3. We are on the 5th row. Knit 3, yarn over. So 1, 2, 3, yarn over. Knit 2 marker. And then we're going to slip the marker. Yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and then knit to the last 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and the 6th row is also the same as the 2nd row. Knit 3, purl across until 3 remain, knit 3. Oh, 3 left. We're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, taking a look at the 5th row, we're going to knit 3 and yarn over. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit to the marker. 1, in this case it's 3, but of course every row will have more. Take the marker off. And then we're going to make yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, but we want the marker to be right next to that central stitch. So it's yarn over, place the marker, knit 1, yarn over, and then we're going to knit to the last 3 stitches. Yarn over and knit 3. And then the 6th row is the same as the 2nd row, which is knit 3, purl across until 3 stitches remain, knit 3. So we want to keep that marker right next to the central stitch. Now it may not look like the central stitch at the moment, but as you get going with this, it will be a lot more intuitive as you get going. So then the instructions say, repeat 5th and 6th rows, increasing 4 stitches on next and every following alternate row. Let's get that marker over where it belongs. Until there are 125 stitches on the needle ending with a wrong side row. And the wrong side rows are these knit 3, purl until 3 remain, knit 3. So we're going to keep going until you have 125 stitches, ending with a wrong side row. I, of course, am not going to make quite that many, but I'm going to make this sample a little bit bigger so we can take a look at the lace diagram. Okay, let's take a look at my sample. Yours, of course, will be larger because you're going to keep going till there's 125 stitches, and I only have 49. But I've slid it onto the cable of my circular needle so you can see how it works. There is our central yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and you can see that my marker has been tracking up right in front of that central stitch. And here is my 3 garter stitch border and my other 3 garter stitch border at the other side. And this is what it's going to look like when you get ready to move on to the lace pattern, only of course it will be bigger. All right, let's talk about the lace pattern. We of course have it on the text. Let's see if I can find the right page here. Here we go. Proceed in lace pattern. So here's the lace pattern written out, the first 10 rows. And then you're going to continue to repeat the 1st through the 10th rows until you get to 325 stitches. Now, for those of us that prefer the diagram, this is an unusual diagram because it's got these little weird spaces in here. And let me tell you why that is. The reason that happens is because since we're increasing as the shawl builds out, there are more stitches in subsequent rows than there are in earlier rows. And you can't put a block where a stitch isn't. So don't worry about all of these spaces when you're reading. So remember, we read right to left on right side rows, and left to right on wrong side rows. But as you're reading across, when you come to a space, just jump to the next stitch. You're going to do that back and forth. So we have a 10 row repeat, but we have charted out the first 2 repeats of that so that you can see what you're doing. In addition, the repeat in the middle is outlined in red. So these 10 stitches repeat several times. On the diagram, it's outlined in the red. And on the text, it will be what's between the asterisks, where it says repeat from asterisk to asterisk until 5 stitches before the marker. This is what we're doing here. We're repeating in here until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches before the marker. And I know that looks like 6, but that's because when there's 5 in there, we're going to place a yarn over, which is going to add. All right, so that is the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Let's go ahead. Since I'm talking at the same time as I'm knitting, I think I'm going to follow the text, but you can follow along in the diagram as well. Let's do that first row. So knit 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over. Let's take a look at that over here. Let's see. So there's our knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over. Now we're in that repeat. So we're in the repeat on the chart, or we are between the asterisks in the text, right in here. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, SSK, which is slip, slip, knit, purl 1, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over. Okay, I had to fudge a little bit because my sample is not 125 stitches, but we have gone until there are 5 stitches before the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we're going to do is knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, SSK, slip, slip, knit, yarn over, slip marker, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over. And now we're going back to the asterisk. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, SSK, purl 1, etc. And you're going to repeat that area between the asterisks or in the red box as many times as you need to do it. So I'm going to finish up this row and then I want to talk to you about lifelines. All right, if you're following on the text, it will tell you at the end of the first row that you have 129 stitches. So all this crazy pants lace knitting that is happening, you still are increasing by 4 because we had 125 before that row and we have 129 after, and you see 133, 137, 141, etc. In the same way, this diagram has 4 more stitches on it every time, one before and after the repeats. Now, I know that some of you get anxious about lace knitting, and here's what I recommend you do if you're a nervous Nelly about this kind of thing. There's a technique called using a lifeline. And to use a lifeline, you thread a long length of a contrasting color of yarn onto your tapestry needle. And after a row that you are sure is correct, And on a pattern like this, I actually recommend you do it after a wrong side row, which I didn't, because I'm speeding right along here. But if you do it after a wrong side row, there are less yarn overs and stuff to get confused with. But all you want to do is, now make sure you don't split the plies, but you want to make sure that you slide the tapestry needle through the live stitches. Don't pull it all the way through, leave some hanging out the other end. So once again, through each live stitch without splitting the plies. And some people like to slide it back. If you're using a circular needle, sometimes if you slide it back to the cable, there's more room to get your tapestry needle in there, and you're going to do that all the way across. And you're just going to leave it hang, whether you knit 5 rows or 50 rows. This is the row that you're sure about. So if you make a mistake and you had to rip out, instead of tinking back stitch by stitch, which can be a little tedious, you can take the work right off the needles and rip back to the Lifeline, and nothing will drop. Now, since there are so many, and I'm going to make sure that I miss the marker, because I want the marker to be free and move. Now, if you are, again, if you're feeling a little nervous about all of this, maybe after you've done 10 rows of the lace pattern in your store, you're still right, move that Lifeline up. You can take this one out and add the next one, but add the next one before you take this one out, again, just in case you make a mistake. But the idea is that you have a safe place to rip back to. So once again, I'm bringing the tapestry needle. I'm doing it along the cable just because it makes my life easier. Now when I knit my next row, I want to make sure that I don't catch the Lifeline. I'm still just working through the working yarn. But again, for example, say I had just gone 2 or 3 rows past this row, and I find a miscount or a horrible mistake, and I can't quite figure out what I'm going to do. I can literally pull it off the needles, rip back till I get to this row, because again, if I've knit a couple of rows past it, the Lifeline's going to be a little bit lower than the top row. So I've knit a couple rows past, I find a boo-boo, I can rip the yarn out to here, and I'm not going to drop any stitches, and nothing is going to unravel past where that Lifeline is. At that point, I can pop the stitches right back on the needle, like I'm doing here. And then I can knit again, being a little more careful and trying not to make the same mistake twice. Thank you so much for joining us here at Yarnspirations.com for the Pastoral Lace Knit Shawl. I'm Mary Beth Temple from Hooked for Life. Please subscribe to this channel by clicking the red box in the description, and give the video a like if you liked it, and join us every week for new tutorial videos in crocheting, knitting, and all kinds of yarny crafts. Bye-bye.